So when I was doing my research into settings of typical R&B genres, I found that a lot of settings are based outdoors. So a lot of artists such as like Chris Brown and Trey Songz, they have a lot of scenes that are set outside. Bedroom scenes are also very prominent. It tends to be more girls that have bedroom scenes, but you do get quite a few videos that have boys with bedroom scenes. In our music video we used 4 distinct settings. We had the bar, which we filmed at Matoni, we had the underpass, the bedroom, and just the streets that Ashley walks on. A lot of R&B music videos, when they feature alcohol and stuff, they drink in like really social settings, so they'll usually be set in like a party, but we used a more intimate setting as he just drinks on his own in the bar because it's more relatable to the song and the emotion and the story that we're trying to tell. For Julia's bedroom scene, we got inspiration from Janae's video, The Worst. She drinks a glass of wine, but instead of setting ours in the kitchen like she does, we did ours in the bedroom so that we could conform to incorporating a bedroom scene into our music video. Some examples of where we got the idea for Ashley to be walking down the street. In Chris Brown's With You, he does an entire scene where he just walks down the street. He's dancing at the same time, but we took the dancing element and made it separate to his just walking down the street scene. The shots of him just standing and singing in an outdoors environment, we got inspiration from Trey Songz's Heart Attack. We drew from quite a lot of Chris Brown's music videos, and he does this outdoor scene again in Superhuman and at the start of Don't Wake Me Up. You will see that in a lot of R&B music videos they use like crews dancing or like groups of dancers, but we decided to just use 2 individual dancers as opposed to group performances. Similarly to our music video, if you look at Chris Brown's Jesus video, they film at an underpass as well, where there's a lot of graffiti and there's a very urban environment which our music video reflects. We wanted to include Holly because she'd already choreographed the dance, but also to showcase her dance ability. And at first we were a bit apprehensive to include her as she didn't have anything to do with the main storyline, but then Ashley showed me the video to Unorthodox, which features Akai, and Akai doesn't actually have anything to do with the main story, but he just dances in it. He features as a, I guess, celebrity guest, so we thought that we could use Holly in the same kind of way. In our music video we've challenged stereotypical music videos as the 2 main interests never actually meet, they're never actually in a scene together. This makes the lyrics and the story more sincere and creates a very distant atmosphere between them. We've also challenged R&B music videos as the issue that they're singing about doesn't get resolved at the end as we would expect it to. We've also challenged typical music videos as our opening sequence doesn't even open with one of the main interests, it opens with the dancer instead. We also haven't used an establishing shot. The closest thing we probably have to an establishing shot is the wide shot of Julia in the bedroom and also the wide pan of Ashley in the bar. There's also a really wide shot of Holly at the underpass as well, so we've very distinctively and explicitly showed the settings. When I was doing my research I found that in most R&B music videos there's a lot of emphasis on star image, so there'll often be a lot of close-ups of the main, usually female. But in our music video we started with a shot of Julia filmed from the back, so we've challenged music videos in that sense because we create a very mysterious atmosphere by not seeing her at the start. This is the same for Ashley because we even show him from the back at the start before we even get to see his face. In terms of costume, we did conform quite closely to R&B music videos. If you look at Ashley's kind of style, it's very Kanye-esque. You can see a lot of similarities between, well, the way Kanye dresses, Kanye's fashion, and Ashley's costume. You've got like the long tops and the skinny jeans and the bomber style and denim jackets. Also, when you look at the start, Julia's heels are very glamorous. I tried to include quite a few fast-moving cuts, fast-paced cuts, because if you look at a few R&B music videos, just a few examples, Yeah 3 Times has really fast cuts. We've also used a dolly movement which we created by Ashley on his penny board. He filmed Holly's dance while he was skating on his pennyboard, which gave that effect. But we've used this to challenge stereotypical music videos, as usually you just get a static shot from the front. I also filmed quite a few shots of Ashley where instead of just setting up the tripod, I literally put the camera on the tripod and just held it and followed him with it like this, like walking around with him. That gave it a much more realistic feel, I guess. I also took quite a lot of close-ups of the drinks. We do have quite a few close-ups of Julia as well, but I put a lot of emphasis on the drinks because it really reflects what the lyrics are talking about. I tried to also stay clear from kind of crossfades, although we do have one at the start. Throughout the song I tried to steer clear of crossfades and like cross dissolves and all that kind of stuff, because usually in R&B music videos you just get straight cuts. When I was editing, I tried to edit everything to the beat because it just makes it a lot easier to watch, like subconsciously it's a lot easier to watch if things fall on the beat as opposed to just cutting randomly. It's a lot easier to follow. I also included a few time lapses just to make the shots more interesting, because sometimes it gets a bit boring just looking at a normal screen, and especially because we didn't add any special effects in terms of like filters, using a time lapse just made it that bit more interesting. It also helped to show the emphasis on alcohol, as it shows like a passing of time and how long they've been drinking for and that kind of thing. At the end I also ended with both shots of the alcohol just to, you know, really home in on the emphasis on drinking. In terms of conforming to the genre, we used and cast black people to be in our music video. There's actually a quote by Robert Palmer defined rhythm and blues as anything that was made by and for black Americans. When coming across this quote and researching into other music videos, I actually found that this was true. Like you do see the majority of people in R&B music videos are black, so it just made sense for us to cast our two main interests with this in mind. We tried to portray the alcohol in a much more sophisticated way, even though a lot of R&B music videos do include alcohol, they don't do it in a very taboo kind of way. It kind of looks, yeah, it looks very sophisticated when they include alcohol, especially, as I said earlier, we took inspiration from Janae's In the Worst, where she's drinking from a wine bottle and she looks very sophisticated as she's doing it, which we tried to recreate with Julia. It was very important to include a dance scene, and we've actually got two dance scenes in our music video, Holly's one and Ashley's one. This helped us to include more stereotypical features of R&B music videos. In our close-ups of Julia, you can see that she's got perfect makeup and perfect hair, which makes her very desirable for male audiences and makes female audiences want to aspire to, you know, have the same thing. Tried to enhance this by using loads of close-ups on her to create a star image. We've challenged R&B music videos in the sense that she's not sexualized in our video. In a lot of artists sexualize themselves in music videos, such as Beyonce and Rihanna are the typical ones. But we didn't do this for our one, just to enhance the sophistication of her character and brand that we were trying to create for her. We have both Julia and Ashley breaking the fourth wall within our music video. You'll see that a lot of R&B music videos do this. Going back to the whole emphasis on star image, engaging with the audience makes it more personal. Richard Dyer, in his star theory, suggested that stars must be both ordinary and extraordinary. So by having Julia display like perfect hair and makeup makes her out of reach. Girls who watch it want to aspire to have the same thing, but at the same time she's very ordinary because obviously she's just a normal girl. We represented the actual artists, Chris Brown and Jhené Aiko, quite closely. A few people that have seen the video have actually said that Ashley reminds them of Chris Brown, or that Julia reminds them of Janae. We conformed to stereotypical R&B music videos as we used a main male lead and a female lead who were both each other's main love interests. We challenged typical R&B music videos with Holly being a solo dancer, as you wouldn't usually get solo dancers, let alone female solo dancers in R&B music videos. At the same time, we've conformed to including dances in R&B music videos through her dance style, which is clearly very hip-hop based. You can also very clearly tell who the main characters are through the fact that they are lip-syncing. Holly doesn't do any lip-syncing, so we know that she's not a main persona. We were able to attract audiences by who we cast. So Julia and Ashley very clearly attractive, and we portrayed them in a very sophisticated way that people would aspire to be. By having Ashley the main interest doing a dance scene, it could very well appeal to female audiences and vice versa with Holly. Our digipack cover bears resemblance to Drake's Take Care cover, in which Drake is also sat down and is holding a chalice. His facial expression shows him quite distressed, I suppose, and we did the same for Ashley in our digipack cover.